was 4 years old the first time I saw the god in the gutter. Of course, I don't remember it happening, not in the way you'd think. My mother told me the story years later. She said we were on a walk, just the two of us, when I started shrieking, pointing at a storm drain. I told her I didn't like the man peeking out. She said it freaked her out, understandably so. But when she looked, there was no one there. Just the grate, the darkness beyond it, far too small to fit any person. She chalked it up to a child's imagination, a trick of the light. I had an overactive mind, she said, always making up stories. And yet, once she told me this, a memory I knew wasn't real took root. I could see him, this figure made of darkness, a rough imitation of a human shape. But the eyes, those crimson pits, hateful and gleaming, staring out from the void. I could feel them watching me. Even years later, when I walked past that same drain on my way to school, I avoided it whenever I could, took different streets, crossed to the other side, never looking directly into that space between the grates. But on the night before my 12th birthday, I did something reckless. Dad had been talking a lot about growing up, about how 12 meant I was no longer a child. It stuck with me, made me feel like I had something to prove, to myself, if no one else. And what better way than to face a fear I had carried since I was 4. So on that evening, as the sun bled out into the horizon, I walked straight up to that drain. The air felt different around it, thicker. My skin prickled, the way it does before a storm. I peered in, expecting nothing but empty space. And at first, that's exactly what I saw. Just shadows, just dark. But then, eyes. 2 gleaming slashes of crimson in the abyss, locked onto me. I froze. My mind screamed at me to run, to look away. But my body refused. My breath came fast and shallow, my fingers tingling. And then, the darkness inside the drain shifted. A shape unfolded from the shadows, moving as if it were made of ink spilling through water. It wasn't just peering anymore, it was emerging. A voice, low and hollow, slithered out from the drain. You see me now. Something cold coiled around my spine. The words weren't spoken aloud. They were inside me, vibrating through my bones. My vision blurred at the edges, my pulse pounding in my ears. I stumbled backward, my foot catching on the curb. I fell hard onto the pavement, the impact jarring me back into reality. I scrambled away, eyes still locked on the drain. The darkness had receded, folding back into itself. The eyes were gone. I don't remember getting home. I don't remember if I ran or walked, or if I ever looked back. All I know is that after that night, the world didn't feel the same anymore. The air always carried a weight, like unseen hands pressing against my shoulders. And every time I walked by a gutter, a drain, or any gaping maw in the earth, I felt the whisper of something, watching, waiting, because now it knew I could see it. And I know one day it will step out of the darkness again.